How's it going, everyone? We are back, and we have been light on videos because we've been heavy on activities. We did 2 OTS championships recently. We ended up having a bunch of friends of the team down. We've just not stopped. We've been looking at Nats prep because that's been announced. We've been doing stuff, and this format is a burning hellscape. So what have I been playing? It's funnily enough the last profile that I put out, I believe. Yeah, it's the last one I put out, which has been Runick Spright for hire. There's been a few changes to the deck. So my best placement was 6th place at the first OTS that I attended in this little run, being Jester Games. Fantastic OTS, had a great time. And was one off taking the whole thing. I basically ended up in 6th because I lost on the top table, and more or less the deck was pretty much the same. The first change is I have opted to go with a significantly more condensed Spright package, so it's just consisting of 3 blue, 1 jet, 1 red, 1 smashers. I've liked this a lot more as opposed to 2 jet and a smashers, which was the original list. Not 2 jet and a smashers, it was 2 jet, a smashers, and the starter. Cutting that gave me an opening for adding, I think I just chucked 3 ash in the spot. Just quick double check. So yeah, there was a 3 card reduction. It looks as if I was just like Ash Blossom because you gotta. Found it was relatively low impact. It was a liability in the fire matchup, and I was like, you know what? Let's be based. Everyone else is playing 20 hand traps. Let's play none. So I then moved to a list with a slight change. The Fur Hire package has not changed throughout any of this, with the exception of me cutting Fossil Dig down to 2 and adding 2 Mutamorphosis. This kind of bumps it up to 4. I can't decide how I want to run this. There's trade-offs to both. Mutamorphosis really gets hurt by specifically Ash Blossom, which means you're down a level 2 on the field, which more often than not you want. The field presence matters. But it plays around Droll completely, which this deck also hates. It doesn't set you up for having a negate by having a Rex in hand for the Rafali, so excess copies don't help like Fossil Dig do. And additionally, it's a once per turn, whereas Fossil Dig is not. So I can't get my ratios quite settled with this. I don't know how I want to run it. Both are brilliant. Notably, Mutamorphosis as well has the flexibility of, if you've done your Fur Hire line, you can just use it to pivot into your Spright line. It gives you access to any of the engines in your deck, apart from Runick, but we're running the same ratios and there's a critical mass of Runicks. In doing that, I ended up with an additional rotor. What did I cut other than that? So I did play the condensed package for that. I cut the 3 ash, which gave me 3 slots, 2 for Mutamorphosis, 1 for Call By. So non-engine ended up being 2 triple attacks and a call by. From all that information and looking at the previous list, which I have already put out, just so we're not doing the whole top-down thing and running you through what is a 90% the same list, with exception of side and minor changes. Yeah, that should tell you everything about this list with previous information already provided. Just moving on to the actual minutiae of what happened at the OTSs, I have found branded is kind of a problem, and that might be a me problem, not with the deck, and Voiceless Voice is tough, but Voiceless Voice is tough, it's not news. So Branded, at the first OTS, we forced a draw. Unfortunately, it was just kind of how it went. I think game 1, I may have just fully got my resource loop working. It may have been the case there. Or it could well have been game 2. Either way, I got absolutely destroyed in 1 and would have sealed the deal. Game 3 running into time. Hate to do it. Absolutely hate to do it, but time was pretty much there, and I was in a very much losing position. Dropped Mooning, felt awful about it, even nearly through the game, and the guy was like, well, you've subbed it, it's fine, just you may as well resolve it, it's what it is. You kind of got to do what you got to do. If you are going to do that, do not slow play. Don't start checking graves or dicking about. It's just essentially cheating. But if you've got a thing that gains life and puts you ahead, you kind of gotta. Mooning came up specifically 3 times, worked out somewhat twice, and just straight up cost me the set in combination with a few errors at the other OTS. But I'll get into that. So Branded was draw, super cool guy. Labyrinth, I believe that was a clean 2-0 win. Raid Raptor, I believe that was preventing a draw through the life gain. Nearly messed that up. I was like, in standby, gain a K. It's in end phase and it's mandatory. So, had to do that. That was such a struggle against Raptor, because if they resolve their combo, that's 3 towers and they're lethal as well. That's a loss. So I just threw the kitchen sink at them and continually kept them off establishing any of the towers. I can out 1. That's it. Fire, that was surprisingly, I believe, a 2-0. If memory serves. All the players were great, by the way. Yeah. Fire, I think I just Runick doing Runick things and being mass disruption. I can't quite remember because it was some time ago now, like the clinching points of that. And finally, Voiceless Voice. Just getting hand trapped 3 times at really, really well placed hand traps. Even with the guy who took the whole OTS not exactly knowing what my stuff does, he made really solid, educated guesses and identified the very much unintuitive choke point, which is specifically Donna's Reborn. Everyone thinks droll it. It's not that. If you DD Crow, you target for Donna out of the grave, then you're reborning a card. You need to do 2 to trigger B. If you have no extender, and bearing in mind they've got rid of your follow-up in Rex, they've just killed an engine with a single one. That's assuming that my Hugin had already been hit with, like, Asher Imperm. Basically, you're denying them, of so many resources that it just was not achievable to come forward after that. It kind of put me on playing SP and pass, which against Voiceless, not enough. Moving on to the second OTS, I played against Branded again. Decked my opponent. This was full of deck outs, which was weird because normally I don't tend to deck people out. I'm still kind of suffering from Bestial Runick syndrome, and trying to get myself into a position where I'm so far ahead I can just kill rather than deck out. Game 1, just decked him clean out. Drew Runick heavy, but not so heavy that it got in the way. And the Runick was nuts, man. So, decked out Branded. I believe next was Mekanko. Again, just did enough. So as soon as I noticed that Makanko was where it was going, I had the decision tree of, do I play or not? And I figured modern Makanko, they're going to have a way to do whatever they need to do, whether or not. So I was like, right, just muscle through. That worked. Super cool guy. Following that, I believe it was a 4-rounder, which actually kind of messed me up. No, it wasn't. It was 5 rounds, I think. So I might be missing one out of the. I might be missing a win out of the other one because I think it was a relatively short OTS. It was. Oh God, what's the deck called? Hands empty. Need hand empty for effects. It's not Infernoid. Infernity. It was Infernity with the new modern support, that being the Horus cards. I can't play against a hand loop if I don't run hand traps. So he summoned Zombie Vampire, which just prompted a scoop from me. Decided into drolled him. He still put up a decent board, and it was enough to get him through. Following Infernity, I believe it was Manadian. Clean 2-0. The deck just performed. You end up too far ahead if you win the die roll, which I believe it did. And going second, it was like staring down a Disparter, Baron, and an SP. And you can just bait for days. You can just not care about so much. And then just normal Rex. Like, just unload your hand, resolve a couple of key things. Normal Rex. Good, done. Rex and an extender is more than enough. So got the win there, and then it was against Justin from the team, who will eventually be doing a video. He is a Dynamorphia aficionado and has about the spiciest Dynamorphia list I've ever seen. It was kind of new to him, so I think he made a key mistake at one point, which was I flashing fired Denglong while he had 9 pillars up. He was like, that's fine. Continued my plays, and it got to a critical point. He flips the 9 pillars, and I was like, where's your Denglong, buddy? So that hurt. It would have been a sweep, because Runick has an unbelievably good matchup against Morphia. It's rough for them, because you're in a situation where you've got like 9 outs if you count tip, off the bat, not even counting smashes or anything like that. You are so toolboxy that just turning off monster effects isn't enough, assuming you've opened correctly. I say correctly. Assuming you've opened access to any of that. So, addressing Rex is not too difficult. Once again, his list is unbelievably spicy, though, so stay tuned. That would have been a 2-0, except he had Misk. I was getting to breaking the board, about to steal his Rex with triple attack, and then Mutamorphose it clean into Rafali, and just go ham from there. Or at least simplify it enough. And yeah, no. He had Misk in hand, which meant triple attack did nothing. On to just a quick note of a recent locals, like literally the one just gone. We invited Justin and Squire, who is another content creator. The OTS was Geek Retreat, by the way, and Squire does all the content for Geek Retreat. So let me just get this handle so I can plug it. So it's Squire VWG. Check it out. He does all the feature matches for Geek Retreat, local to him. So yeah, we had Squire and Justin down participating in it, just a bit of a team social. We went out for a meal after. It was super nice. Really low key, actually. Everyone was kind of tucked up in bed for a reasonable hour. But yeah, that was Voiceless Voice. Lost. Incredibly spicy list throwing up Chao Fang, which was nuts, using super heavy samurais. I saw the super heavies drop and I was like, ah, we're cool. And then voiceless things happened and we were not cool. We were not cool at all. So it was one of those situations of, right, so let me just check the board out so I'm fully aware of every interaction this puts out going first. I understand the board. I'm going to scoop because I'm not going to give information throwing cards into a situation that I just cannot win with the hand that I had. Like, literally, my opponent was in such a forward position that they could have probably just negated the first thing and then had been done. Especially with Chao Fang in that situation, turning off activations from light and fire monsters. Following that, RDA 2-0. Branded Chimera, Charlie, one of our good friends of the channel, got the 2-0 and had the best time ever. Charlie is a pleasure to play against. And then it was Squire, who we had round, also playing this time standard, I believe, Dynamorphia, and got the 2-0 there. That was a scary 2-0 though. I had to sit there and we were just staring at each other, waiting for who could get into the engine first in game 2. Game 1, the deck comboed. It's very much a case of if you draw 6 in a game where drawing a card is good, you're probably sound. You're probably in a winning position. Additionally, on top of that, if you have done that through your Fur Higher line, which at most you will have 2 Rexes and a Mayhem still in deck, all the rest should have been cycled onto the field or into the graveyard. So there's that. If you've managed to hit your Spright line, you will have probably 2 blues and a red in deck, or 2 blues, a jet, and a Smashers in deck. So, again, that you burn through that engine pretty quick. You have your generic starters and your power cards that aren't good to draw, being Triple Tack and Called By, Mutamorphosis, and Fossil Dig. Everything else is live. So you take a chunk out of your deck in your combo, and then you draw 6. And odds on, they're going to be pretty interactive. Also, there's a bit more nuance to it. You tend to draw 6 at profitable points. So if someone's left a body up and you've got to run into it, so if you're in like turn 2 and you've managed to slow them down enough or break it down enough, you can leave a loose body that isn't a threat up and then just do it from there. You play slightly different going second. But yeah, at that point, you should be pretty golden. The deck has a problem with towers. I have a problem with branded. I ended up getting punished in the second OTS because I kind of sided in... I think my game 2, I just drew 3 DD Crow, which was not good. I mean, for damn sure they weren't resolving Gimmick Puppet, but... yeah, the 3 Crow in the hand really hurt, and in the last game, it was Dimensional Barriers. And that's in there for Voiceless, and I was like, branded, I'll barrier them. Put up Munin, gain decay, because time was fast approaching. They had 2 regular bodies on board, and I barriered, and then went into Sleipnir. Neither of us caught us. Luckily, the judge did, because I'm glad this didn't slip through. It's not a way in which I like to win. We had a reset the game state, and I was just like, look, you're 2k ahead, or whatever it was, because Munin has pretty puny defense, I think, or it might be 2k. Yeah, it's 2k defense. Ah, right, they outed the Munin somehow, and then I went into Sleipnir, which I couldn't have. But yeah, either way, Wouldn't have wanted to win like that anyway, and had debarriered myself, so couldn't legally summon the Sleipnir. So yeah, that was pretty much all she wrote on that branded game. We've been doing a bunch of stuff. Like I say, we're looking at nationals. Hopefully there'll be content surrounding that, more vloggy content. It's easier to do when you're also not trying to like be a good host, or you don't have to specifically just travel and then start playing, because like, what are we going to show you? Like, we went to Greg's, got some breakfast, played a game, and then went home. So whereas like when we're traveling away, there's more like lifestyle stuff and hanging out, and you know, like how do you do these events optimally? Like it's good information. Whereas when they're fairly local, you go there. That's the optimal way. So yeah, hopefully we'll have more cooking with Con. That was a good time. I believe that might have been, yeah, that was London. That was London because Con mutilated himself in the attempt of cooking. Loz has been repping Manadeum a lot. Tom has been taking a small break, and Con is on full power salad, and we've been having fun. I might end up on Raid Raptor. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the format shapes up. I finally just finished building it, thanks to finally getting access to OTS 24, getting everything I needed. But who knows with UBell shaping up how it's going. We'll see how it goes for the competitive side of things. That may well end up being my main deck. So that's been the little update. That's been why we've been sparse on content. Everything should kick back up. I've got a few deck profiles to do. Tom's got some, now that's what I call content ideas, which is our we just want to do things for fun segment, and we're going to get back on it. So all that being said, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, hit the bell icon, do all those good things, and let's change the subject, people. I am leaving.